save us from this horrible fate. My opponent, Earl Blumenauer, liked this concept so much that he decided to vote for a measure to extend it from the domestic crooks to the foreign crooks. And when people like me pointed this out, his answer was simple: oh, I voted by mistake. Funny but true. You can look it up. But getting back to too big to fail, this doesn't just work for banks and big corporations, okay? You can imagine this concept in other areas, and of course it's part of the modern development of what people misleadingly call capitalism. So, for example, if you're Solyndra Corporation, and you think that you can make solar cells out of magic beans, because that's green power, you see, it comes from the beans. And you just go out and you borrow $1 billion, Congress underwrites it, and you go out and build this big factory, and then lo and behold, poof, the money's gone, right? But you're too big to fail. You walk in and you collect your paycheck. Now, I think what's going to happen eventually is the Democrats are going to push this idea to its logical conclusion. Imagine a country where every business were too big to fail, okay? And in that case, we'd have all of these people who are, the congressman's brother or sister-in-law or cousin or staffer or mistress or whatever. They'd have every dumb business idea that you can imagine, like, let's build a restaurant with hot tubs and people can sit around in the hot tubs and eat fried chicken, right? And what a great business concept, And they'll go out and borrow the $17 million from the government to put all the hot tubs in, and lo and behold, nobody wants to eat fried chicken in a hot tub, so the restaurant's empty, the loan can't be paid back, but in they walk, hey, I'm too big to fail, let me the check, okay? What's wrong with this idea? Well, eventually, of course, I begin to look at our economy, and I begin to see that it's like Easter Island, all right? We have all these giant things, that the government wanted to build, but all the people are gone because the whole economy crashed, and that's the Democrat economic plan. What's another highly funny topic? How about transportation policy? Does that sound funny to you guys? Yeah, that's just inherently funny, isn't it? Some of you may have heard that Portland wants to impose a new street user fee, right? They discovered that they spent all the street repair money on other things, so of course the answer is stick them up, give us more money. This got me thinking about what they spend the money on. And again, it's like Easter Island. You can walk around and see all these strange objects, these utility poles that are like 43 inches thick and made out of 17,000 pounds of steel. One of my favorites is the little sign now that just appeared at the end of the Hawthorne Bridge. Have any of you seen it? It's all this, how many bicyclists have crossed the bridge today and how much carbon they've all saved. And you can imagine that we had a committee of about 15 city employees, and they all worked about 6 months designing this, and they all made maybe $67,000 a year, and so, oof, there's $500,000, and then they have the specifications, okay? And then they take the specifications and they go out to Charlie Hale's brother-in-law or something to build us a sign, another $500,000, and poof, $1 million. And so now we have this nice little sign at the end of Hawthorne, right? And all the bike activists can stand in front of it. You guys know about the bike activists in Portland? You can see them going in the streets. They wear these like clothes made out of a strange kind of plastic, strange unnatural colors that are sort of only found in rainforests, like giant green lizards. They sort of look like giant green lizards. And so the lizard people can stand in front of the sign and say, oh, we feel so good about ourselves. Look at all the carbon that's been saved, right? Now, what's wrong with this? Why am I bitching about this, right? What could possibly be wrong with this? Well, of course, out in East County, we have the old people and the children getting run over because we can't afford crosswalks, right? The lizard people have an answer for that, of course. Let's be all happy because now there's fewer people breathing the carbon. And we can keep the carbon balance of the planet, right? What else do they spend the money on? Well, some of you may be heading down I-5 tonight, and when you get down there, coming out of downtown, you'll see these little new signs, real high-tech signs with the LEDs and everything. Recommended speed. Has everyone seen the recommended speed signs? These are the signs that say, we think you are retarded. I mean, I come down there, it's rush hour, recommended speed, 25 miles an hour. It's like, no, really? You think I'm going to go 65 miles an hour and plow into that pile of cars sitting there? What do you think, I'm stupid? Of course, they think I'm stupid. And I think this is part of it. I think there's a secret imperative somewhere that says, we can't spend transportation money on anything that people actually want or need, like bridges or additional roads or anything like that at all. No, we can't do that at all, and it's very hard. We have to be sensitive. It's very hard to spend that much money without building anything useful at all. Personally, I think consistent with Blumenauer's legalization policy, they sit around in these meetings, okay? They sit around in meetings, and you can imagine it. It's like, I've got it. Let's put stop signs at all the streets going into the traffic circles so everyone has to stop. And they'll go, yeah. So that's why if you go over to 39th Street Burnside, you see this big traffic circle, and everybody going to the circle has to stop. Quite remarkable. Quite remarkable. Nothing says you're stupid like, we don't think you're smart enough to get into a traffic circle. What else do they do? I mean, there's endless examples. I could go on all night, but I have to give Jason some time, so let me keep moving. What else do they spend money on? Art. Art. Does anyone here know what art is? Well, art used to be something that one admired for its beauty or emotional power, right? Okay? What is art now? Well, if you drive over the Hawthorne Bridge, the Morrison Bridge, you'll see this giant pile of rusting angle iron, which they spent $750,000 on. Okay? This is what they call art. In case you're interested, it's supposed to evoke the vanished industrial economy of East Portland. Now, personally, I think that the pictures of all the rotting buildings in Detroit evoke vanished industrial economies better than that. They don't cost anything. If they really wanted to evoke the vanished industrial economy, what they would do is they would put pictures up of all the businesses they have driven out. Of course, they wouldn't want to do that because then the people might rise up and... all right. Well, now, of course, not all the transportation idiocy is that expensive. We read in the Oregonian last week about the newest frontier in transportation spending. It's called yarn bombing. Okay, anybody read this? This is great. Yarn bombing is when you've got a bunch of employees sitting around. I've got it. Let's go buy some expensive sweaters and put them on all the animal sculptures in Pioneer Square. The city council had a budget tightening session 2 weeks ago, and this, believe it or not, they were going to talk about not spending so much money, but this was the one thing they wanted to preserve, because all their staff, they really like to go shopping at Nordstrom's. Look at that cute silk, it's only $4,000. We'll just put it on the taxpayer's credit card, and on to the next one. So that's Portland. But Portland, we're pikers here in Portland, right? We're just pikers. Every once in a while, somebody comes along who really makes a mark in his field. There's like the Ultimate Achievement Award. When I think of that, I think of President Obama. What's his ultimate achievement? He spent